Hi guys, how are you? I'm back with another video, and in this video I'm showing you guys how I make my parathas. Parathas are very similar to chapatis and roti. You can have it alone, you can have it in wraps, you can have it with any curry. My kids just love it. Now these type of flatbreads, just like chapati and roti, they require no yeast, no rising time, so nothing complicated like that. The dough recipe that I'm using for the parathas, I use the same one for chapatis and rotis. I'm gonna link that video below, so check out that video to make the dough, and let's get started on making parathas. Before we start making them, let me just show you a few of the things that we need. I have my setup here. I have a plate with a clean kitchen towel. Once they're ready, I will just keep them covered in here so they're nice and warm. I have a bowl with some extra dry flour, just about a half a cup to a cup, and that's gonna help us roll out the parathas, the prepared dough. I have a rolling pin, oil. I use neutral oil, some salt, something to flip, and a little spoon, and then I'm just using a cutting board to roll them out. You can use a cutting board or you can just do them on a clean surface. All right, the first thing I'm gonna do is just dust my fingers lightly in the dry flour, and then however large I want the paratha to be, that's the size of dough that I'm gonna take. And just keep in mind that parathas are a little bit more heavier than chapatis. So you do take a little bigger piece for the parathas because they get layered. Usually you kind of layer them. So it will be a little heavier, but again, that can be your preference of how thick or thin you want to make it. And this is very similar to making chapati, rotis, what I'm doing right now. I'm just taking the sides, bringing them in to create like a circular shape. Once I've done it, I'm gonna flip it over, the seam side down. And with this hand, I'm keeping pressure and I'm keeping the seam down in a circular motion. Get a nice round shape like that. I'm gonna place it in the dry flour. Again, this is very similar to chapatis right now. And I'm doing this just to kind of flatten this disc out so it's easy to roll. So I have it on a clean surface here. And right now, I'm not gonna roll this all the way out like I do with the chapatis. I need a little bit of dry flour to help it roll. And as you can see, it's kind of moving on its own, or you can roll it straight out like this and just kind of flip the direction. Okay, once like it's about this size, as you can see, now we're gonna create the layer of the paratha. I'm gonna take a little bit of oil, just 1 to 2 teaspoons. Put it on there. Use a spoon to kind of just spread it all around evenly. You don't want to put too much oil because it will ooze out the sides once we fold this. Once that is spread, you take just a little bit of salt, sprinkle it. Now we're going to create the square shape. You take the top, bring it to the middle, whatever leftover oil you have. You can spread it on this side. And then you take the bottom and you overlap it like this. And again, you can put just a little bit of oil on here. You don't have to, but again, that's gonna help create the nice layers. Now you bring one side over like this. You take the other side, you overlap it again. And this creates this nice square shape. And as you can see, all the layers, this is how the layers are created in a square paratha. Again, we take it to the dry flour, and I'm gonna just flatten it a little bit. Or you can just flatten it like this. Now we're gonna start rolling this out, keeping in mind we wanna keep this square shape. Roll out, turn, roll out, turn. And as it's sticking to the surface, again, you just lightly dust it in the flour again. You don't want too much flour because a lot of flour on a hot griddle, it will, the extra flour will just kind of burn, and then your parathas will be a little dry and a little dense. Just flip the sides. You want to get it to like a 6 by 6 or a 7 by 7 square. Okay, once all the sides are nicely rolled out evenly, I'm going to place this one on the side and make another one. Okay, let's put this one aside while I roll out the other one. When we're ready to cook the parathas, I like to cook them on a good high heat. So usually what I do is I have a few rolled out and then cook them all at once. And since you guys saw me making the square parathas, there are round parathas as well, and there are a few different techniques to creating the layers. My mom always made the square ones. That's what I learned, and I find making the square shape is just a lot easier and a lot quicker. So let's get to making a few more. Okay, again, lightly dust your fingers in flour. Try to eyeball the other pieces that you're getting. But again, if you're new to this, they're still gonna taste delicious. It's okay, they don't all have to be the same size. I use a neutral oil for making parathas. You can also do butter or clarified butter. I just find that when I use butter, they turn out a little bit more crispy. And when I use oil, I think they just turn out just a lot more softer. So that's just gonna be your preference of what oil you want to use. Just keep a few things in mind. First is the heat. I like to cook them on medium-high because the lower the flame and the longer they sit on the griddle, I think they become more tough and kind of dry. So you want to have them rolled out before, or at least make the round discs beforehand before you start cooking them. Secondly, earlier you just saw me put them, stack them on top of each other, and I do that as soon as I'm ready to cook them. But if they're just gonna sit longer on top of each other, the dough may stick. Okay, I have a hot griddle, just a little bit of oil. And now I'm gonna go ahead and place the paratha on here. Right away, you wanna put some oil on it, just a teaspoon or two, so the top can be nice and soft. And you spread it with a spoon. And as you can see, the color is changing. It's kind of getting a little brown. Once I've spread it spread the oil right away. I'm gonna flip it. I'm gonna oil this side as well. I'm gonna spread it. This will make sure that the paratha is very nice and soft. And now what I like to do is I like to flip it again, and then gently I'm pressing on it, just pressing the sides, making sure all the sides are cooked. As you can see, it's already like so soft. Now I'm gonna flip this side again, gently pressing. I'm just using this, the spoon's kind of helping me turn it, and also when you flip it, you won't get splattered with oil. So this is done. You saw how quickly we cooked that. And it's done. We'll put it to the side and cover it and cook another one. Okay, we'll make another one. I have a little bit of oil. Gently put it on there. Oops. A little bit of oil.